Kyonte Hamilton I wanted to bring up. Defensive lineman, 6'4", 304, out of Georgetown Prep High School in Maryland. All 4 seasons of NCAA eligibility, he played at Rutgers. As a D lineman, he had 35 tackles, 4 sacks, a forced fumble and fumble recovery. Now, 35 tackles for a D lineman is pretty impressive. And so he had 2022, 23, and 24. He was academic All Big Ten award honored. 2024, he was an honorable mention All Big Ten by Coaches and Media. So he ran a 4.95 40-yard dash, which, it could be worse for a D lineman. 9'2" broad jump, pretty impressive for a D lineman. He had a 29-inch vertical, and he had 29 reps on the bench press. That's a lot. So he carries his weight really well. That's one of his strengths. He's very explosive for a D lineman. He's definitely sort of run defense based more than pass rushing. He has a great spin move, though, when it comes to pass rushing, and he's very durable. He didn't have any injuries for us. So this guy, he's worth a shot. He has weaknesses. He can be shut out in the pass rush pretty easily. He's not very good at evading linemen, and he's strictly interior based. He doesn't go out to the D end, so he can't really slot over if you have injuries on your team. He's a projected undrafted free agent, but at his peak, he is a rotational player, and my comparison to him would be sort of a Derek Nottie.
Yeah. Again, you make some great points, as always. When I was in high school as a freshman at Bergen Catholic, I was 5'8" and 145 pounds, and I ran as fast as I could, and I ran a 4.9 40. He is 6'4.5", 304 pounds, and runs a 4.95. That's very fast for a defensive lineman. And that kind of speed and size is something that could really help disrupt the quarterback on opposing offenses. And I think you're right to identify him as somebody who could, be an impact player in the NFL. But overall, is there anybody in particular who either went to the combine or was at Pro Day that you think has the best chance to represent Rutgers and succeed in the NFL?
Yeah, there's one guy that I'll actually get into in a little bit, but I know you disagree with me on this, but I really think Monangai is that guy. Every fan loves him. He's the only one of these guys that's projected to be drafted, so he automatically has the best shot just by getting drafted, because teams don't waste draft picks. They either trade them away or they get guys they think they can succeed with.
Sure.
People say these 6th, 7th round picks are sometimes wastes. That's absolutely not the case in the NFL. The greatest football player of all time, unfortunately, because I'm a Jets fan, he was a 7th round pick overall, Tom Brady. And,
right.
You look, San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Unreliable is now their starting quarterback who took them to the Super Bowl. These picks are never a waste. So you get drafted, it means a team believes in you. And a team is going to believe in Kyle Monangai, whether that's a starter or a backup or 2 or 3 years of development, and then they try him out, and maybe he does work, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But he's definitely the guy that automatically has the best shot.
All right. Well, I'm going to disagree with you in part. I think that he has the second best shot, but I think you make a really good argument for why he could be considered the best prospect. But you mentioned Tom Brady being drafted in, I think, the 7th round.
Yeah.
That proves my point that these GMs are morons. You know what they do? I'll tell you what they do. They sit in their big offices. They do very little all day except see how much their stocks have gone up. Yeah. And then they get their assistants to bring them a piece of paper that says, these are the people you want to draft because these are the, statistics on their height, their weight, their 40 speed. They look in a very small box without looking outside the box to see who has the intangibles, the intelligence, and the drive. And Tom Brady being selected in the 7th round, gone to become perhaps the best quarterback in history is an example of that. I'm going to disagree with you on Kyle Monangai because I think there is one sleeper candidate for Rutgers that could become a star in the NFL.
I think I know who you're going to say, but go ahead.
His name is Hollin Pierce.
It's not who I thought you were going to say.
Offensive tackle, 6'8", 341 pounds. Projected as someone who can develop into a starter, ranked 21st in athleticism at the combine, and considered a rare combination of size and strength, tremendously disciplined with above average hand placement, and his mass and his length can really challenge rushers who get too close to him. And he uses a trap technique with his outside hand that ultimately shuts down the edge. This guy isn't talked about enough. He should be. Hollin, I'm on your side. You're going to the NFL. We'll see you on Sunday.
You're right. I mean, the O-line was really the strongest part of the team last year and in very many previous years. You could say the same this year. So one guy I did want to bring up as an honorable mention because everyone's talking about him post-pro day is Tyreem Powell, actually.
Yeah.
That's who I thought you were going to say.
That was the person I was thinking about saying, but you're right on him. Go ahead.
Yeah, linebacker, 57 total tackles last year, 70 total in 2022. 32 solo, 25 assists, 2 pass deflections. He had 4 in 2022. No sacks last year, but 5 in his career. Forced fumble last year, 1 the year prior. And some of his measurements, he's 239. He runs a 4.69 40, which is impressive for a linebacker. This guy, he's ranked, let me see here. It says he's ranked 254. So that means he's projected to get drafted according to 247 Sports. So if, it's sort of borderline where with 254, he could go anywhere from round 5 to undrafted. But
that's true.
Statistically, it is more likely that he gets drafted than he doesn't.
All right. So here, and you certainly might be right. And this is what really, this always raises a question in my mind. When you look at these prospects across the board, for the most part, they all are similar in size, relatively similar in speed, relatively similar in experience. So you got to wonder what separates them so that you get your elite players, your great players, and the players who don't make it. Because if they all have the tools, or at least the minimum requisite number of tools, what is it that makes some succeed and some not?
Yeah, that's a great question. One I don't know if I can answer outside of just the discipline and heart that I've talked about. Because I've said on this show, analytics will get you to the draft board, but it's about your character that separates you, and that's why they do interviews. After analytics, that's the last thing it comes down to.